Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us for this lunchtime informational webinar. We're so excited to share information about this year's Georgia Smart application cycle. Please remember to keep your audio and video muted throughout the duration of the presentation so we can ensure everyone can hear the video well. My name is Stephanie Broxton, and I'm the Community Research Manager here at the Partnership for Inclusive Innovation. I work closely with the applied research projects the partnership supports, and I look forward to the potential to work with you too. So here's a little picture of what we're going to cover in this webinar. I'll briefly describe what we do here at the partnership, how we foster community research, and then I'll dive into the specifics of applying for Georgia Smart. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please add them to the chat box. We will have time at the end to answer all submitted questions. This webinar is being recorded, so you'll be able to access this information for future reference by visiting our YouTube channel, which I will put into the chat at the end of the presentation. So, what is the Partnership for Inclusive Innovation? We are a public-private partnership dedicated to ensuring innovation, opportunity, and shared economic success for all Georgians. You can see a brief bulleted list of our goals on this slide. We have 3 pillars through which we provide support for innovators: economic opportunity, student engagement, and community research, with one more coming this year: workforce development. Sometimes the easiest way to explain something is through a visual. So what I'd like to do is share this very short video about the partnership's pillars so you have a good frame of reference for the kinds of projects we support.
We believe diversity is our strength and that geographic location, gender, race, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status should never be insurmountable obstacles to success. For Georgia to emerge as the innovation and tech capital of the East Coast, we must connect through our differences, apply sustainable thinking, and rely on our uniquely Georgian spirit and grit. Autonomous vehicles that increase safety and efficiency, farming co-ops that give employees autonomy and a tangible stake in their work, smart water sensors that help prevent flooding. These are just a few of the ideas that the Partnership for Inclusive Innovation supports. Ideas generated in communities and individuals from all over Georgia with all kinds of backgrounds. With the goal of innovation, opportunity, and greater economic success, we identify and help those across Georgia who don't necessarily identify as stereotypical entrepreneurs, the dreamers and doers who have inspirational and actionable ideas. Today, we work across 3 main programs.
The pilot program awards innovators of all kinds financial and networking support to create new services and products that will help build a stronger Georgia.
The Georgia Smart Communities Challenge supports research projects that address local issues through technology and data to create a safer and sustainable future for all citizens.
And the Smart Community Core program helps university and graduate students pursue their passion for community service with summer placements that provide hands-on engagement.
We believe great innovations and new businesses can originate from anywhere and everywhere, but that the opportunity to innovate has not been shared equally. By expanding access to opportunity, we leverage resources across business, research universities, and government to advance innovation for a better Georgia tomorrow, to become the innovation and tech capital of the East Coast and beyond. The Partnership for Inclusive Innovation.
Today, we'll be focusing on the community research pillar, which includes the Georgia Smart Communities Challenge. When municipalities experience 21st century challenges that require strategic planning, how can leaders identify solutions that are researched, tested, and evaluated by subject matter experts? We believe the faculty in higher education can help to cultivate solutions to community challenges by engaging directly with the communities where their research will be applied. So as the partnership's most established and longest standing pillar, the community research pillar seeks to bridge the gap between research and application by activating working relationships between researchers in academic environments and community representatives. The partnership supports community research in a variety of ways, including our flagship program, the Georgia Smart Communities Challenge. Often referred to simply as Georgia Smart, this community research assistance program empowers communities on their journey to innovation by helping them to envision a smart and connected future by advancing projects that utilize technology and data to improve the human condition. So let's dive into Georgia Smart. Founded in 2018, this cohort-based program has served 16 communities across the state in a variety of projects, everything from installing sea level sensors and evaluating corresponding data to planning for autonomous vehicles. You can see all the communities we have worked with on the map on the right, as well as the general program highlights on the left. Selected communities are provided with funding and technical support that allows them to execute their desired Smart Cities project, with the help of university researchers. Pairing community representatives and local university researchers on a project team allows communities to drive accelerated outcomes, plan for the future, and receive expert assistance from local experts in key smart cities fields. This model has led to some really notable outcomes over the 4 years that we've been doing it, including the activation of 172 technologies like traffic sensors, sea level sensors, AOT and IoT devices, apps, and other technologies. Many projects that have worked with Georgia Smart have been able to secure additional funding since the project period because of their initial outcomes and continue their projects today. So what does the Georgia Smart project look like? How do researchers and community representatives work together? What are some good example outcomes? Well, let me show you a short video about the Smart 50 award-winning and World Smart Cities Award finalist traffic management project the partnership supported last year in Valdosta, Georgia. This is a good, if large, example of a Georgia Smart project. So you can see how much they were able to accomplish with a partnership between the City of Valdosta, Valdosta State University, Applied Technology, Inc., and Georgia Tech when supported by Georgia Smart. Towards the end of this presentation, I'm going to welcome Mr. Patrick Collins, the city engineer within the City of Valdosta, to talk about his experience working with Georgia Smart, what made his project so successful, and how partnerships advance the project, and most importantly, any tips he has for applicants. So make sure you stick with us through the presentation to catch his advice. So now that we know what Georgia Smart is and what Georgia Smart project looks like, let's look at the details for applying in 2022 to participate this year. You can see on this slide what a team should look like. Teams applying for funding through Georgia Smart should have two parts, the community side and the researchers. We believe that local university faculty often know their own communities the best, so we want to be very clear that this opportunity is open to communities in any part of the state and faculty researchers from any higher education institute in the state. We would love to see partnerships between communities and local universities that advance initiatives close to home. Generally, a municipality representative known as the project lead will drive the application and eventually the project. This person works in partnership with the research team throughout the application and project period to outline and drive the work plan and accomplish the proposed project. Often, a community will have more than one team member who works with the project regularly. The research team should consist of at least 2 researchers and be either A, multidisciplinary, or B, multi-university, or C, both. For example, it could be 1 researcher from an engineering department and 1 researcher from a social sciences department, or 1 researcher from Georgia Southern and 1 researcher from Georgia Tech as examples. Once the team is formed, the members work together to determine the work plan, budget, and other elements of the proposal. So what kind of projects are we hoping to support? Well, this year we hope to support projects that fit under the theme of smart resilience. You can see on this slide a few of the types of projects we think could fit under this theme, but this is in no way an exhaustive list. In the spirit of truly addressing community needs, we want the door to be open to you all to submit proposals for smart projects that address the unique challenges your community is facing. Each proposal can request up to $100,000, which includes funding for both the community and the research team. The team decides while writing their proposal how these funds will be split. As a reminder, Georgia Smart will not provide tuition waivers for graduate students. We do not fund projects that are missing the research element or the community elements. And most importantly, Georgia Smart will not fund a project that does not have a concrete application in the community. We are very open to what that application might be, but there does need to be some level of application or pilot in the community to draw data from, for example, as an outcome of the project. On this slide, you can review the 5 basic elements of each Georgia Smart application. You can see that it is in line with the standard grant application, inquiring about the reason the community is pursuing this SMART project, what will be accomplished during the project year, how the research partners are adding to the project, a budget, and a personnel plan. Our request for proposals, which I will link in the chat at the end of this webinar, is the best reference for ensuring you include all the information in each one of these sections. The application is submitted through Qualtrics, so you may want to consider saving everything in a Word document as you work on it and put it into the Qualtrics survey once you have gathered all your materials and are completely ready to submit. We also require 3 appendices along with 1 optional appendix, which you can see on this slide. Appendix A should be a letter of support from a high-ranking official within the applicant community. You'll also notice that we do require a cost share or cash match. This percentage is required, is not directly specified in the request for proposals. Please note that this can come from a variety of sources, but should be representative of the community's commitment to the project, as well as the scale of the project. It is also of note that this program requires not insignificant amounts of time from project members, so it should be clear that all staff on the project do have the time to spend. On this slide, you can see a selection of the program benefits that come from working with the Georgia Smart program. It is an award-winning program where our projects have had a lot of success over the last 4 years. It's one-time financial grant funding. We do assist with communications and managing the project. So access to Penn's statewide network of partners supporting organizations and current and alumni projects. Our Smart Community Corps student intern program helps to support projects over the summer months through an application process. And of course, we continue to support all of our projects after the project period as much as we can. Here are some of the selection criteria for the proposal that I'd like to draw to your attention. Alignment with the Georgia Smart programming. For that one, I'd like to just remind you that the theme will be smart resilience. So we'll be looking to see that the proposal is aligned with that topic area. We want the team really especially to be multi-university. We want to see that there are representatives from a local university to the community on the team. And we also want to see that we're drawing from expertise across the state as well. So we really want to encourage multi-university research teams. And we also want to highly encourage multidisciplinary research teams as well. But they have to be at least either multi-university or multidisciplinary. But we highly encourage you to have both. And we think that multi-university is really the best route there. Compelling vision for the community, reasonable plan, a meaningful and measurable impact. We want to see that your project is research oriented, but that it's also application based. We'll be looking to see that there's a realistic cost, dedicated leadership, attainable schedule, and community support, including that cash match and cost share. So what does a good proposal look like? These are a few things that we'll be looking for within the proposal. Of course, we want to see that it includes all of the requested materials that are located in the RFP. We want to see that it's really supported by community leadership, that the goals, what the impact and the outcomes of this project are going to be, both research and community side, are very clear and specific. We want to see that those inputs are really related to your desired outcomes. And we want to see that it's connected to the partnership's guiding principles in the way that it is inclusive. And we want to see that your narrative justifies and explains your budget. So on that note, I'd really like to welcome Mr. Patrick Collins from the City of Valdosta to give us a little bit of insight into their award-winning project. Mr. Collins, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon and to let us pick your brain. You can go ahead and turn on your audio and video whenever you're ready. We'll start with an easy question. What was your experience like working with Georgia Smart?
Well, as you've heard today, that the Partnership for Inclusive PEN Awards recognizes community and student collaborative teams that are making an impactful and transformative difference in local Georgia communities. I can say that working with Georgia Smart was a rewarding experience. There are regular online progress meetings with the cohort of the other smart cities that were awarded grants. You mentioned that it does take some time. While these cohort progress meetings did require additional meetings between Valdosta team members to complete assignments and be prepared for the next cohort meeting, the effort was time well spent. The cohort meetings kept the project on track. We realized a better project outcome because the training and the guidance that was provided were extremely useful in internally examining and refining the project's original scope and proposed research. Throughout the project, Penn staff were responsive. They answered all of our questions and were very supportive. Even after the project was complete and the final report was accepted, Penn continued to support us when they needed their assistance, when we needed your assistance applying for national and global Smart City Awards. All in all, I would encourage you to apply for this grant. There was no downside to our experience.
Great. So what do you think it is that made your project so successful? And how do you think that partnerships advanced your project?
Okay, so our success began in September 2020. That's when the city was awarded a $100,000 grant in conjunction with Penn and Georgia Tech. The project included plans to deploy signal preemption for 10 emergency vehicles, deployment of the Travel Safely phone app for real-time communication between vehicles, pedestrians, cyclists, and intersections, and to create a new engineering technology program in transportation at Valdosta State University. This project resulted in the following. Here's where I see our success. It improved the traffic flow and road safety. It enhanced mobility for area residents. It reduced transit time for emergency vehicle drivers by 10 to 11 seconds. It connected all 128 of our traffic signals with 10 fire trucks. Over 900 community members were engaged with team members. We integrated community research and co-creation and partnership. We provided educational research opportunities for students and a new engineering program at Valdosta State University. We developed a strong working relationship with VSU, Georgia Tech, Temple, and Applied Information. Matter of fact, we have another project that we would like to, that we're applying for. In addition to that, on things like Engineers Week, and we're often invited over to VSU to talk and encourage students in pursuing a degree in engineering. And the two biggies for us was in November of 2021 at the World Smart Cities Award, the city was nominated in the mobility category along projects from Barcelona, Spain, and Germany. And while we did not ultimately win the category, award entries came from 46 countries, and Valdosta was the only US representative in the mobility category and one of 5 American cities in the group of 34 finalists. And on April 4th, coming up here, 2022, the city will receive a top 50 Smart Cities Award for mobility at the Smart Cities Connected Conference in Columbus, Ohio. And so, here it is, 2 years since we received our initial grant, and we're still reaping rewards for having pursued this grant. And I can tell you too, we've got a lot of cities have gone out and branded themselves, and we're known as the city without limits. And this grant and this partnership with the Partnership for Inclusive Innovation has definitely let us live up to that motto. Of course, you asked how did the project partnerships advance the project? Well, the Valdosta project team included the faculty and students from Georgia Tech and from Valdosta State University. We had our city engineering department staff, Temple Incorporated, and Applied Information, who envisioned a community. And it was the only community in the state of Georgia outside the metro area where all its traffic signals could communicate with each other to provide increased safety for all motorists and road users by connecting all modes of travel to traffic infrastructure and one another. So here's how we work together. The students and faculty at Valdosta State researched and they analyzed the qualitative impact of the Travel Safely app had on the community and campus and traffic flow through campus. Students and faculty at Georgia Tech performed the quantitative research analysis and impact of installing preemption citywide and its impact on fire department response times. The engineering staff installed the equipment on all 128 of our signal cabinets. Temple, they provided the equipment at a discount. They provided technical support and programmed and mapped all the intersections to trigger the preemption. And finally, Applied Information. They're the developers of the Travel Safely app. They worked with us closely. They provided both technical support and grant writing support.
So Mr. Collins just put it better than I ever could. You can see exactly how far they were able to take their community research assistance and support from Georgia Smart. They really branched it out to a lot of different facets that impact the community. And so their project was really successful because of that. So just to kind of wrap us up, obviously you probably have a lot of great insight to share, but Do you have any tips for applicants, or is there anything else that you feel like applicants who are interested in Georgia Smart this year should know?
Yeah, based on my experience, I'd ask yourself the following questions. Is your project innovative through its wide implementation, its multidisciplinary approach, multi-university involvement, or extensive community and student engagement? Will your project make an impactful and transformative difference in your community? Is your project replicable? Can the project serve as a model for other cities to implement similar projects? Does your project propose extensive citizen engagement through both workshops and outreach to your community members to disseminate information and to get feedback? Smart and connected communities rely on people and data to enable informed decisions and create sustainable smart development. So ask yourself, does your project include a research-led process that builds on the fundamental scientific and technical expertise of academics and research? Lastly, I would like to add that I've been a city engineer for over 36 years, and I've managed a lot of grants over that time frame. Some grants are just too difficult or cumbersome to manage, while others expand the scope of work to a point that the additional costs exceed the benefits of the grant. I can genuinely recommend applying for this grant. You'll be glad you did.
Thank you so much, Mr. Collins. We really appreciate your insight this afternoon, and congratulations on all the success Valdosta has had. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so at this point, we'll go ahead and move into the question and answer session of this webinar. You can visit our Georgia Smart webpage through the QR code there on the bottom, where you can access our request for proposals and all the information about Georgia Smart 2022. But if you do have any questions for me at this time, I'm happy to answer them. Go ahead and put them in the chat. It does look like we already have one. So it says, we aren't ready for 2022, but we would like to participate in 2023. Any advice on how to pull together a research team? So I think that it kind of depends on which side you're coming from. If you're coming from the community side, or if you're a researcher who's looking to pull together a team, certainly your first resource, I hope that if you're thinking about pulling together a proposal and you need a little help figuring out how to put together a team in general, please reach out to me. I'm happy to try to brainstorm with you about potential opportunities. One thing is that we believe that researchers in the local community know their community best. And so maybe already some partnerships have been forming, and there just needs to be that catalyst. And that's what we want to be in this case. So if not, then I would say sometimes the availability of this funding can be a good starting point for a conversation between a researcher and a representative in a municipality. That this program is available, and some ideas could be brainstormed that way. So I would say maybe a first step could be just reaching out. But please reach out to me if you have any concerns or questions about putting together a team. All right, it looks like we have another question. The city of College Park has engaged in smart city technology for 3 years now. Great. We have smart devices on trash receptacles and AI devices that count traffic, pedestrians, cyclists, etc. This is exciting. Okay, great. More of a comment. Thank you so much. All right, I'm with One NCE, and we offer low-cost cellular connectivity for IoT smart initiatives. What's the best way to get our offer to your applicants and participants? So we don't necessarily endorse any specific technology. We're certainly open to applicants being partnered with any technology provider that they consider. So it might be a matter of getting with your current customers or whatever the case may be, and seeing if this is an avenue that they might want to go down. Any other questions about Georgia Smart? I'm happy to answer. I'll wait just another minute just in case. Is the emphasis more on cities than counties? No, we have had just about an equal number of cities and counties participate. So we very much welcome applications from cities and counties. Yes.
Stephanie, can I add something?
Yes.
Yeah, I was also going to say, when you were talking about, someone asked the question about products and that type of thing.
Mhm.
We had made an initial, you know this, but for the rest of the group, we had made an initial investment in Glance software. And we had spent like over $400,000 putting this in our traffic management center and out there. And what this grant did for us, and so we had already purchased the equipment. But what it did for us is it allowed us to expand what we had purchased a few years prior to receiving the grant to its fullest capabilities, where we could roll out the Travel Safely app and those types of things. So I would advise folks that have been doing something for a while, this could be a boost. This grant could be a boost to make your project, take your project to the next step. And anyway, hope that was
Absolutely.
helpful.
Yes, that's very helpful, of course. We are happy to advance initiatives that are current in your community. What is the next step? That's part of what community research is there to assist with, is to help you find that out. All righty. So just in closing, of course, if you do have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is listed right here on the screen, and I'm happy to discuss further with you if you have any questions whatsoever. In closing, I'd like to thank you all for being here this afternoon to learn more about Georgia Smart. We would very much appreciate you sharing this opportunity with your networks and colleagues so that we can ensure we reach every corner of Georgia with this opportunity. If you are considering application, I highly recommend visiting our Georgia Smart playlist on our YouTube channel, which I'll put in the chat here in just a second, where you can view the final presentations of all the Georgia Smart communities who have been through the program. That will give you a great idea of both the types of projects we help to support, but also the work plans and timelines that go into it as well. You can also reach out to me, like I mentioned, at stephanie.broxton@innovate.gatech.edu. Lots of dots there, but please reach out anytime you have questions about the application process or suggestions of communities or researchers who might be a good fit for this funding opportunity. Thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon, and we look forward to all of your applications and to hearing from you. Thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon.